Alrighty, welcome back again. I am strangely excited, hyper for this episode, so I have a little bit of energy right now. And on that note, welcome everyone to another episode of the Wandering Stone podcast.
Welcome,
That's
welcome,
right.
dear listener,
I am
sweet listener.
the one and only Scott, host, Scott slash host, followed along by the one and only Ebenezer slash host.
Hi, friend.
This is it. 20 episodes in.
Dang, we got to 20.
I know, right? Like so long ago.
I know, right? Oh man,
We are almost done this chapter of the Wandering Stone podcast. Still a few more episodes to go, so we're not going away just yet. But you know, we're reaching our end game. uh,
till season 2.
um, what's new with you though? Because my weekly update is going to be a little bit of a long story. So, anything new in your department?
I got a job offer for a job I really don't want to take, but I've been told I should be lucky to have. And yeah,
The recruiter for the job is like, "You really want this job? Like, you should be thankful that I took the time out of my day to ask you to work for me." Were you
if you
number
hear the
two?
scraping on the ground, that's the shit shovel I have to take to work
Yeah.
with me, right? But I'm gonna take it because we don't have money like that, dear listener. I don't pay a lot of bills, but I'm poor enough that I still have to pay some of them.
That's
And
any bill is not a bill you want to pay.
yeah, and you gotta empower your art somehow. I wanted to take this sculpting class, and I was like, I need so much money to do all this other stuff. Like, dear listener, honestly, you want to come with me to like fucking Budapest? You know, we just fucking travel a little bit of India, some of like Slovakia or some shit. Like you're invited, dear listener. I know you're like about to like backpack and like leave your family behind, your wife and your daughter.
Yeah,
If
where
you're gonna
where are
leave
you finding
anyway,
the money
hit
for
me up.
this?
You don't need money when you backpack,
You're
alright?
going across an ocean.
Or
You're
do
gonna
it like the
swim all the
movies.
way to India?
Look, listen to me, dear listener, right? We're gonna go to a dock, like a ship dock, and we're gonna be like, hey, is this going to India? And you go, yeah. Are you running away from something? And we're gonna be like, yeah. And if he's a cool ship guy, he'll let us on.
They're gonna commandeer a boat and be like, this boat has sails. Wind pushes boat.
A captain, I think a sea captain will understand running away, and he'll, out of the kindness of his sea dog heart, he'll let us ride with him to an 8-day trip to India.
Well, have
When
fun with
you share
that.
stories, you'll see. You'll see. Watch. It's okay, dear listener. He doubts.
I don't know. I don't think
He
I'm going to see
doubts
you
our
ever again
journey.
after this.
Yeah. It's like I just get kidnapped.
You're going to be gone, exactly.
I just want to experience the world and make art, man.
I mean, that's good. You got a different job again, so that should be interesting.
Gonna be
Okay, not
terrible.
interesting. You hate it. You didn't even
Gonna be
start yet,
terrible.
but you hate it already.
I haven't even started, and I'm already drinking. I'm already like drinking and smoking a cigar and like cursing out my wife. Right?
Yeah, because dear listeners, he was shaking his head at me when I told him that he will enjoy his new job.
I won't. Dear listener, I know you can relate. You gotta do shit you don't want to do, but that you gotta do. And if you go to r slash Reddit for men, and they you're gonna see the first 8 comments are like, "Man, life sucks," and you know what? I gotta upvote him. I'm like, "Yo, that's facts." It's kind of beans right now.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, no one
yeah,
does their job because they enjoy it. It's just because they have to get money, right?
At least for us poor few
Yep.
who didn't win the lottery on job choices, but hey, comes with the cards,
I mean, didn't you enroll in the rat race too?
not by choice.
I think we all did. As soon as we
No,
left high
no.
school, it was like, ah, rat race, ah, yeah,
They
rat
didn't.
race, rat race.
They didn't tell us. They didn't tell us it would be like this. They didn't tell us
I think we all do.
deep inside. But yeah,
Well,
just that.
on that bright note, I have a sad note.
Sad note.
It's sad in the sense of I have a VTuber news update, and this is something that I'm not really too deep into. So my facts and logic is not going to be as profound as it is for Hololive, you know. And that's because this is pertaining to a South Korean VTuber company called VNU. Now, some of you that just heard that name are thinking, dang, really? VNU? And some of you are thinking, who the fuck is VNU?
Who
Now,
the
to those
fuck
of
is
you that
me and
said,
you?
what the fuck is VNU? I don't blame you. And the reason why I don't blame you is because, also, see, hold on, sidebar. Hold that fact. Hold on, sidebar.
Sidebar.
Sidebar. Ebenezer.
Yeah.
See how much I'm moving around right now when I talk? I just went
Yeah.
like this. And no one's gonna see me do this, but I'm doing that because I'm talking.
They'll feel it. They'll feel it in the audio.
And for the dear listeners, I'm moving my body when I talk. Like, I'm actually emoting and moving my arms, and I'm just like moving my head around side to side. Like I'm talking to someone in real life. And I'm not. Because Ebenezer's not from real life. He's fake.
I'm somewhere far away.
I know. He's in India right now. That's why his Wi-Fi keeps cutting out.
I won't scam you, bro.
Okay, now I permission to approach the bench.
Permission granted.
All right. So after that sidebar, basically, VNU is a small quote-unquote indie company, but VNU, in the eyes of basically everyone that watch Hololive and other VTuber companies, thought that this was the next big company. So in the general populace of VTubers, uh, in my personal opinion, the hierarchy was basically Hololive, Niji Sanji, and then other random JP company. And then now, in terms of English company, it was going to be Phase Connect and then VNU, right? So VNU started off in 2022. And that's not that late in the game, considering that generally all the other agencies for EN started around COVID, you know?
Yeah.
So they had time to organize their models, their whatever, to get everything set. And the production quality of VNU was actually pretty good. They had a weekly anime or a monthly anime. I forgot which one it is. I only watch a few episodes because the production budget of that animation wasn't the best. It's basically, in my honest fan opinion, it's like watching a PS3 cutscene, right? So it's like, it's there, the movement's there, and the voice acting's there, but it's just not as smooth and solid as watching Spider-Man and PS5 swing to the city, you know?
Yeah.
But it had that going for it, and the creators, like the actual talents, were actually pretty good. Granted, I didn't really start watching them until like 2023 when uh Amano Safari and Oracle debuted around that time period. And to give you the 411 of a quick TLDR, Amano Safari had some huge drama with VNU where she had to quit. And now she's the indie VTuber called Alien Mixture. And she's doing her own thing. That's the, doing her stuff. So that's cool. But I did watch Oracle, which is like the group name. And just recently, as in probably like the last week or so, 4 members of the company are going to graduate back to back to back to back to back. Now, to most people, you're thinking to yourself, that's pretty crazy. But to us VTuber fans, we instantly get flashbacks to Niji Sanji.
Yeah.
So now we're kind of worried because we already had the drama from before with Amano Safari. And if I'm saying her name wrong, I'm sorry. I'm just speaking fast and whatever. But and now these four members are leaving. These four members I will list is basically Spectra, Suri, Mare, and Sion. Or Cyan. I don't know. Now, granted, I am going to mispronounce names. I mispronounce names all the time. Marine from Hololive. I used to pronounce her name as Marine, right? Which is completely stupid because the Marine is like the ocean. Marine. The Marines. Why the hell would you say Marine? It just doesn't make sense. But I said that
Yeah.
because I thought it was like a name, okay? Let me live. So anyway, these four VTubers have basically announced they're going to graduate within this month. So by the end of this month, they're all going to leave within a couple of days of each other. And so people are speculating, being like, what's going on? And I haven't caught up with it because, one, I'm not really a drama guy. I don't really care about it. And two, I do want to catch up on it eventually, but sort of like later on, because it leads to my point, which is point three, which is I'm not really the biggest fan of them. Of the four that I mentioned that are leaving, I only really watched two of them, which was the ninja and Scion, the thief, because they had some really banger OSTs and their streams were actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But every time I would watch a V and U stream, especially like within that generation, it was very sad because it was very much, in my opinion, it's like they had everything, but it's just the audience wasn't there. You know, they just couldn't capture the market that they wanted, and it was just kind of sad to watch because, to be honest, they could get probably around 100 views, which in the grand scheme of things is not that good. Because as a corporate VTuber, if you're not reaching 1K or you know around a little bit more than 100, then it's not really the best. So they're all leaving, and I'm kind of interested to see what will happen more. I will probably watch videos about what's actually happening, and then maybe next time, as in next week, I can inform you guys about any updates in VTuber news. But that's them. I'm gonna miss them because I did, like I said, I used to watch two of them, but not that often because they're just kind of like on the low key list that I watch.
Yeah.
But I still like them too. Partly because the ninja one, her design was really cool. Her soundtrack was great. She was a good streamer. And the thief, same thing. They both were good. They both apply actually, so they're both the same good. But yeah, that's my weekly update. That's my VTuber news. We're gonna see what's gonna happen with them. Not gonna lie, kind of scared. But yeah, we shall see. Now, what do you think about all that?
I think I hear bad streamer, just BV Sojo, and I don't know. It just sounds like a small doomed group in like the growing history of YouTubing, right?
Yeah, just one of the groups that didn't catch on,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But it was one of those name brands where it's like, oh, we kind of know of you, which is why you're so in the news right now. Because V
I don't
Sojo
know.
is definitely up there. I think V Sojo is probably like the number one EN besides Hololive because Hololive has that market cap.
That's true. Then again, I'm outside the sphere, but in my head, it makes me think their clout level is like Sean Kingston, where like
I mean, I could probably see that. It's just because they are a major company That's why it's kind of like hitting the mainstream. But we'll see what happens with these girls and see where they go from here,
Maybe they'll get absorbed to another agency.
or just go indie.
That's true. Under new names.
It's just a shame. Ah, well, it is what it is, right?
You think they were that talented? Like they're Michael Jackson's untapped fountains?
Well, I don't think it's like that. I
Ah,
just think they deserve a chance.
nah, that's not good enough.
All right.
Not good enough. If you're like, oh, they do something unique, like they're diamonds in the rough, then I can.
I think the company was a diamond in the rough, but
I see.
given all the drama that I haven't caught up on, I'm not sure if I can stand by that statement after I read up on everything.
Diddy was a good man.
I might just sell baby lotion and oil, so maybe that's why I like it so much. But
He's the first man to buy my baby oil.
yeah.
I can try. Oh God.
Uh, but on that note, um, considering last week, you basically told me that you don't want to have topics because you hate our topics that I think of. I decided, you know what? You're right. We're not going to have as much topics. We're just going to have general discussions. But on that note, I do kind of have a topic.
It's okay. This one's a good one. I trust. I trust the process.
Yeah, I gave him a sneak peek of what I've been doing. So, the topic for this episode is basically at work. I work an office gig, if you don't know already, for right now. And I don't want to just. I have downtime, basically, between my duties and not duties. And I need something to do. And I can't just like scroll through Amazon on a pretend shopping list to look at prices because I'm not like a mom in my 30s, And I can't just go on random websites because it's still a corporate job. I don't want to have a random feed on my history. So I decided to read some court cases because court cases are public knowledge that you can basically get everywhere. It's on the internet. It's there for you to enjoy, I guess. Plus, when I was in college, I took business law classes, and some of my professors were actually really, really cool. And that's kind of why I like kind of reading this, because when I read these court cases, it reminds me of those days when they really explain it to you, and it reminds you of, oh yeah, sometimes the law works. Like when they break it down to step by step, it's like, oh, that's why this is like this. And I was just kind of interested in hearing some of Ebenezer's thoughts on court cases that are actually legit. These are actual court cases that you can read about for New Jersey. And I'm not going to name the specific title of the court case or the date because I don't want to name drop it. And also I kind of don't want to get too deep into the actual, like, not statistics, the actual uh
He doesn't want to be a true crime podcast.
yeah, like we're not that too official. I don't know. I don't want to be too official with it. I just want to be kind of
I feel
flow
you.
and free and just
Yeah.
kind of lay it out there. So, on that note, I'm going to now read you. I have a list of some of the court cases that I read, and I kind of want to see what your thoughts are. Now, I'm going to start with an easy one. And by easy one, I always say easy, but it's kind of like weird. But this one is actually a sort of friendlier introduction of a court case,
Right.
right?
My first day as a judge.
That's right. So, actually, you're a juror, but that's okay.
As a juror.
Yeah. Because actually, you want to be a judge? Yeah, you can be a judge, sure. You could be a judge.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say someone is walking down the street and she's going to go to the work, right? So she's walking towards her car and she is walking and walking, walking, just focusing on getting to her car. And then her foot slips into a pothole. She actually fractures her ankle and She can't go to work. She then sues the state due to neglect of fixing that pothole. Now, as the state, they had to defend themselves, right? And so, if that lady sues the state for negligence of fixing that pothole, would they be liable for one, the damages that she occurred, and two, fixing that pothole? What say you?
So, I think she is right. She pays taxes to us, the municipalities, to make sure there are not potholes, so she can get to a car. Was that pothole in a private parking lot or like?
No, it's a public road.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, that's our fault. That's our fault, and she's right to sue if it caused injury. Cause
So the state rebuts, and the state
what did they
says
say?
they
Yo,
have a
states still
team
just want to pay.
that runs down streets to
Yeah.
to fix potholes, right? Now that team is only consistent of 5 people. You might think that's a little bit less than you would want, but at the same time, the budget can only afford 5 people to fix this one strip of road. Okay, they had to cover, I think, 264 miles of road.
Oh my
So
god.
if they miss a couple of streets, I mean, it's not the time of the day to get it. They have to get through a lot of roads. Granted, the road that lady did get injured on was a high traffic road with a lot of trucks. So they do know
Should be maintained.
that road is going to be a little bit disheveled sometimes, which is why they said that they try to check it out at least twice a month, which is more than any road will really need because technically roads are pretty much good to go for a long time
Yeah.
if you really think about it. So that's what they say. And what do you say to that?
Lady she walked from her car. I mean, from the building to her car and stepped in this pothole.
Yep,
Fucking breaks her ankle
yep.
and says, "Yo, why isn't this fixed on a high traffic road?"
So
I
then
feel like she's in the right.
the state asks, has this been reported recently? The answer
Oh
is
no,
no.
it hasn't. It hasn't.
The lady says that she has called multiple times complaining about the potholes. So, like any good government worker, they tracked any reports between X period before the incident and to the incident for like, I don't know, I think like a year or 6 months, whatever they did.
Yeah.
There were zero reports about that street for
Oh.
potholes. So that lady pulls up Google Maps as her witness, quote unquote, as the state of
Yeah.
the road. And the judge, in their ultimate wisdom, has said, we do not accept the Google Map images because it could have been alterated. Now, on one
Well, we
hand,
really don't want to pay. Yo, that's crazy.
on one hand, technically you're right because Google does alter the videos, like the images,
Yeah.
because there's like privacy, and then you have to actually like make sure no one's face is shown and stuff. But on the other hand, it's sort of just like they really asked her for like video, photo evidence of this road, so they could put it on record.
I think she's in the right, but I think because the government's job is not entirely to help her, but more so to not lose as much money since we already don't have a lot of money. I think if she called 3 times prior and then she fucked up her ankle, she would have a case. But because there's no evidence to back her up, we're gonna have to say, bitch, pay or you gotta pay the bill yourself. And we also won't fix the pothole for another 2 months.
See, now you're thinking like the state.
Oh no.
Because the official verdict is basically what you said. They said that because no one told them there was a pothole in that area before like 6 months or like whatever time period, they
Yeah.
would never have known that there was a pothole there because no one reported it. And so it's her fault for walking off the sidewalk, going into that hole, and breaking her ankle. And there you go.
Man,
Crazy, right?
we
This
live in
keeps
a
me up
terrible
at work.
society. We live in a terrible society.
Well, all that means is if you go to a street and you see a pothole, make sure you report it, and then give it a couple of weeks, couple of months, and nothing happens. Hey, man, you reported it. If you start doing some Johnny Sins shit, and like go and create X games on it, then not from us. You didn't get the idea from us.
I just feel like because I don't know when you call, where do you even call? It's not like there's a sign on the road that says, "Call us when potholes are fucked up on this road."
The Department of Transportation has a hotline number specifically for reporting potholes and like road
Oh,
issues,
okay.
and then they just narrow it down to your like district.
I feel like this is something that should be monitored by an app and not by the people. You know, because it's like,
It's sort of like when you're on Google Maps and someone reports a police car, so that everyone else knows there's a police car in that area to slow down.
uh, I just feel like it's unfair because I feel like in this day and age, I'm not gonna stop my day to report this shit. This feels like your job. It almost feels like, hey janitor, do I have to tell you there's a mess there for you to clean it up? Like, isn't your whole job to find a mess and clean it up?
I mean, they do inspect the road. Like they said, they try to get there twice a month because they know it's high traffic. But they have a lot of road to cover, and it's only 5 people, so they're gonna miss potholes because they have so much ground to cover that they had to fix.
If you own like like say you're in charge of the janitors, right? You have to clean up all of like a university, right? But you only have 3 janitors, right? And some guy slips on like orange juice on like the farthest sector of the school because you guys don't get to it until like the end of the week.
Yeah.
Is it the janitor's fault?
Is there like did someone report there's a slip there?
No,
Not.
no.
That's it then.
Oh God, I feel like that's like one of those. It feels almost like a gray area because it's like, yeah, your scans are supposed to find these potholes, but I don't know how fast a pothole can like spawn in on a road. Is it like they scanned it and then like 2 days later a truck drives over it and boop?
I think it depends on the road and the soil quality. But all I'm saying is people give me shit for looking down when I walk. But this is why I look down when I walk. It's not because I'm a sniffer dog. It's because I want to see where I walk. I want to know where my feet are going into.
We should just have drones patrol the fucking streets for potholes. That sounds like that would save more money than 5 fucking guys driving up and down 200 miles
Yeah,
worth
why
of
don't you go
land.
work with the state police? I don't know, and like create an app for them that can do that.
I'm not that smart. I'm an artist. I'm supposed to draw naked women and die a tragic death, right?
Okay. Uh, this next one, I don't know. Hmm. No, we'll stick with the funny one. Here's another funny one. Uh, we have casinos down here in South Jersey,
A lot of them.
and you know how we had that whole pandemic in 2020.
Oh yeah.
So one of the casinos that I will not mention because it's hilarious filed for an insurance claim for a loss of revenue. Right.
Hmm.
This is during 2020. They did it once. Their limit was $1 million for that claim, and they got 856,000 out of that claim. And they were like, "Cool, we got some money out of COVID. Nice." And then, in their infinite wisdom, about 2 years later, they decided to sue again. But this time, sorry, not sue, put another claim in. But this time for a higher capped amount. Guess how much this capped amount was for insurance?
I want to say 10 or 20 million.
That's right, $50
Yeah.
million. They wanted to claim $50 million after they won previously for the 856,000 because they were like, we can do it again. We won the first time.
If you can let me have that bag of chips, you can let me have that store, man.
Yeah. So they said
Oh my
they're going to
god.
file an insurance claim for a loss of revenue due to COVID, right? You know
Okay.
that thing that happened? And their
Damn.
specifics that I wrote down, they're going to claim for direct physical loss or direct physical damage from a contamination of COVID-19.
Mm.
You are now the court, you're the judge. Do you think they're allowed to get this claim approved? Or is you going to say, nah,
It's Hard Rock.
it's not Hard Rock, but
It's not. It has to be Hard Rock or resorts. All right.
there's no point.
It
It's not
has to be.
resorts either. And there's no point in me actually
No
protecting
way.
them because it's public knowledge.
No way. It's not. It's not those two.
Nope.
Don't tell me it's Trump Tower.
No, that's gone, dude.
Oh yeah, it
I
got
filed for
changed to.
bankruptcy.
Oh really? It was bankruptcy. I thought they just
Well, the
changed
one
that.
in here they did, but the one over there is still open.
Oh, okay. Which one was it? I need to know.
Well, answer the court case and I'll tell you.
Okay.
I
Okay.
need to. I need judge. Do they get the
Sorry.
money or not?
um. Hmm. Do they have proof?
COVID happened. What do you mean proof?
Yeah.
You lived through it.
I'm the one judge who's like, COVID was a scam. It was a gimmick. It was all one big prank. Hmm. I want to say no. I do want to say no because like 2 years after COVID, COVID wasn't 4 years, was it? It felt like it was just the two.
No, we were still wearing masks, but it was very like going down.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I would have to say no unless they had like an active like outbreak in that casino. Like, oh, now they had to quarantine like 25% of their staff or something. Like that's the kind of proof I would have to look for to agree to something like that. Cause 50 mil, like bro, I know you're not even making that in a good year, so you gotta sit down. You gotta sit down.
Well, I will say the reason why the courts did say no is because of the fine text that I said earlier, which was direct physical loss or direct physical damage to the structure, right? To the building. So the building was perfectly fine. And in the fine print of the claim, it talks about the direct physical, you know, physical. So they were arguing, saying that the structure is still fine. You're still semi open. So technically, you were still making money. And also, everyone was forced to not be there. So if we allowed you to accept this claim, that means every other fucking business that got affected by COVID is going to insurance claim and then get the money from it. So of course they had to find some way to turn this shit down.
I didn't even think about that. A president, yeah.
Yeah. So in the insurance, the contamination doesn't actually have the text of pathogen or virus within it. It only had like radioactive spill, like fire, smoke, that kind of contamination, water
You're
spill.
joking.
So technically, a virus or pathogen was not covered as a contamination. And that's how they also construe the
Yo,
arguments. And I was like, damn, they got him.
I hate short
They got
sellers.
him.
Holy shit. Holy shit. That's so evil.
Yep,
Oh my
they
god.
got him. And so,
Yo.
I will now say the casino was Ocean Casino. They
Oh my
tried.
god.
They tried. I'm not throwing them under the bus. This is public knowledge. Like, anyone can read this court case.
I respect the try. I do respect the try. Because it could have been legendary. He swung for the fence.
Yeah,
Damn.
and they whiffed.
Well, they didn't lose out because I guess it just cost them money to go to court. I don't know if it even costs money to go to court, right? It's
Of course it
an
does.
insurance claim.
It costs money to get a lawyer, to pay like the the fees of everything basically.
Yeah, but they don't pay for like being turned down the insurance claim, right?
I don't think they get turned down for the insurance claim. I think they just pay for the actual time spent in court for that claim.
Oh well, that's
Yeah.
negligible to them. Yeah. So not a total. Whoever thought that up in the company, it was a good idea. They deserve a promotion because that would have been fire.
They tried, yeah.
Yeah.
Someone's got to do it, right?
Yeah, someone does got to do it. Damn.
Yep.
Damn. Insurance. Fucking hate insurance.
Okay. The next couple ones are kind of more serious. So I think eh,
Your Honor, this clown killed 8 children at a birthday party.
well, I want to give a viewer's discretion, but it doesn't really apply for this one as much as the next ones I'm going to say. But I will
Okay.
say that they're coming up.
Okay. The big ones, the wallops.
So here's one. Let's say a cop. No, okay. You were at the train station, right? And you notice a guy standing there, and so the cop goes up to the guy, and he's like, "Hey, like I heard about a report for X, Y, and Z. I just wanted to talk to you about X, Y, and Z." And so the guy has a blue suitcase, and he says to the cop, "Yeah, I can. Just hold on. Let me give this suitcase to my buddy. He's coming to pick it up." And then the police officer says, "No, I can't have you wait. I need you to come with me so I can discuss about X, Y, and Z." And so the guy says, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, just wait. My guy's right here. He's pulling up." A white car pulls up to the curb, and then the guy says, "Yo, bro, pick up the suitcase." And then he runs away, fleeing arrest. The cops, of course, go after the guy, and the white car books it. The white car does not stop to pick up the suitcase. He just leaves.
Okay.
After the short foot chase, the cops arrest the guy and they pick up the suitcase and they open it up. And guess what's inside?
It has to be a gun or weird lewd memorabilia.
That's right. It was drugs.
Ah,
The next best thing.
dang.
There were
I'm
drugs in that
surprised.
suitcase. And I don't remember if there was a gun or not. I think there was, or I'm thinking of a different case. But there was definitely drugs in this case. And so he gets arrested and he gets charged for obviously having drugs and evading arrest. But the issue arises in court when he's trying to defend himself because you get it right to a trial, obviously. They're saying that it is unconstitutional for like a Fourth Amendment right, basically, is you have an unlawful search, right?
Yeah.
It was an
He had
unlawful
no cause
search
to search him.
to search that suitcase. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because technically it was his property, so therefore there was no warrant issued to open that suitcase. So the police are saying it was an abandoned object. Therefore, it was free game,
Mm,
right?
okay.
So I'm going to ask you, did it were they unconstitutional in, the search warrant? Like were they allowed to search to the suitcase basically?
He searched after he the guy like dipped, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It was abandoned. Cause the guy who dropped it ran, and he the one who said get the suitcase?
Yeah, the guy that said pick up my suitcase booked it cuz he was talking to the guy in the car.
Ooh. No, it's not abandoned then.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not abandoned. Cause if he tossed it into like a bush, yeah, then I'd be like, you abandoned that bitch. But you're like, my boy, pick up my bag.
Yeah.
That still sounds like you know where it's at.
So you're basically right. The court basically said, you guys are arguing about abandonment of the suitcase, which is dumb as fuck because we know that it belonged to that guy. It was not abandoned. And they did precedence examples where they explained it. One of the examples was there was a bus and everyone had luggage on that bus, like one bag basically claimed to them. And when the police stopped that bus over for a routine check, they every bag was claimed except for one. And so the guy who didn't claim a bag got pulled over by police and was like, "Hey, what you doing? What's your state of travel? Whatever." And they brought in their sniffer dog. They opened that sucker up, and guess what? There was drugs in it.
Mhm.
Now everyone else on that bus claimed a bag, except for that one guy. So that guy never claimed that bag. Therefore, it was probable to believe that bag was abandoned because, like, we can't
Mm.
actually say it was yours because it could have been on maybe the person before he went on the bus, you
Yeah.
know? But it was most definitely him. It was definitely him.
Yeah.
And so for this case, this guy had the blue suitcase and ran away, right? If he had no intention of coming back for that suitcase, then yeah, it was abandoned. But we know who the suitcase belonged to. He was not coming back for that suitcase. And so that guy that he was yelling to pick up the suitcase, they don't know who that guy is. So he's not a part of this case at all. He's just like some random dude. He cannot claim ownership of this case. And so because they arrested him, they have a probable cause to look through his belongings because of like him running. They could be
Yeah.
like, oh, it's like make sure that he's not carrying anything else. So at the end of the day, the suitcase was not abandoned. It was still his property, but it was a justified search because he was arrested. And
Yeah.
just to make sure everything was okay and not to leave a bag unattended, they opened up his suitcase to find out what was in there. And that's the 411 of the case.
So pretty much, if he didn't run and just said you need a warrant, he would have been fine.
Yeah.
Damn.
Because then he could have done the interview, he could have maybe slipped through, and then he could have went in that van with that buddy of his and got the drugs
Yeah.
through.
I will say that that's the dumbest shit to be walking around with a blue suitcase. If you're like delivering drugs, I feel that's the most like standout. Like, I don't even know. I had never even seen people in public carry a suitcase.
I have, when I took the train, people take the suitcase, they go to the airport via train.
But this was not a train station or
This is a train
anything. This was
station.
just. Oh, it was.
Yeah, it's a train station. Can we tell you the train station?
Mm.
It's public knowledge. I can tell you which train station this was.
It was a train. It was a train station.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's getting picked up by the white. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm. I wonder what made the cop think to go to him.
There was some reason to do like to stop him. I forgot what it was, but they had a just cause to stop that guy for some reason. I forgot. It
Well,
was just like when they actually did stop that guy, he just decided to run away, and then when he did that, he left the suitcase behind.
you know what? If he dressed up like a businessman and he was licking an ice cream in the other hand, he would not have gotten stopped.
Maybe.
I'll tell you, that is the most innocent person I can think of in a random public environment. No man can be found guilty while licking an ice cream cone, alright? That's like the most vulnerable a man can be
I
in
know.
public.
I watched that clip of Chris Pratt, and he made the ice cream look pretty sus.
He was vulnerable. he was he was vulnerable. He was displaying himself.
Now,
Dang.
this next couple of cases, I'm going to actually put a disclaimer on because it discuss a very serious topic, actually, and it's basically about child pornography.
Ooh.
Yeah, like actual
Bad.
serious topic. So if you actually
Okay.
are uncomfortable about that, I would just say probably skip it and probably skip to the last 10 minutes when we talk about recommendations because I feel like this is going to be the last one.
Yeah.
because it's a very deep topic.
Was it close to us?
Um, they didn't tell me the location, but this was last year. No, actually,
Mm.
I think it was last year. Yeah, I think this was last year. Is it last year or this year? This case was actually went to the Supreme Court in New Jersey case. So this went all the way up to the highest level before federal,
Okay.
as in like, the federal government. You okay?
Yeah, I want to see this. I was about to
Okay.
say excited, but I was like, oh, that's the wrong word to use for
Yeah, in this
what this is
context,
going to be about. I'm interested. I am intrigued, but not happy.
yeah, pulls out his popcorn and wine glass, swirls it around. Hmm.
Entertainment. Mm.
Okay. A guy is friends with another person, like they're married, whatever. And he sends his friends images of his daughter. And the guy takes it and he's like, yo, nice. Got a cute daughter. And then they stop talking and she still. Okay, listen.
Pause. What kind of man are you sending pictures of your daughter to another
No,
man?
like you have a kid. Like you send like those, like, hey, look at my kid, like doing, like Facebook images. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm gonna tell you right now, dear listener, you should not be having friends sending you picture of a daughter's kid to your phone ever,
Okay, listen. They post it on
ever.
Facebook, right?
Mhm.
He saves the images. That's what I mean.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
He's guilty. He's
Granted,
guilty.
he also does sneak pictures of the child.
Yo,
Hold on. We're still starting. We're still starting. See, this is what I'm talking about. We're still starting.
this is begging my give, but you get him out. Get him out. Get him out of my court.
His friend stops talking to the guy who takes pictures of the kid, obviously.
Okay, yeah.
So they stop contact for like, I don't know, 4 years, 3 years. And it turns out that guy, I gotta give him names. Uh, um, let's call him, lewd guy. Or how about, I don't know, child guy?
Ludwig.
I can't say weirdo. What am I? I gotta be professional about this.
Call him Grimes.
Grimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Grimes, in his infinite wisdom of being a human being in this society that we all share together, he decided that he's going to create some funny haha, some funny jokes. And what he does is he has the image of the girl and he photoshops sometimes random hot chicks, like green screened next to them, with very lewd
Get him out of my
captions.
court. Get him out of my court. Why are
Judge,
you
hold on, Judge.
why are you in Adobe Photoshop with another man's picture, bro?
Judge, hold on. It gets worse. So sometimes he'll just have very lewd text next and around the image of the girl, saying like, "Oh, I wish I could nut into X hole," and those funny texts next to it. And the reason why this guy got caught is because he went to your local Starbucks or whatever coffee joint, and he had a really funny screensaver on his like
No.
uh binder, let's say. And some guy walked up to him and was like, "Bro, that's kind of weird. why would you have that on there?" And so an investigation was put on because obviously having a child have the captions of "I wish I could suck X, Y, and Z" around it is kind of weird, especially when that child is a real person. So that person gets caught, obviously, and they get put to court, which is how this whole thing started. And so the issue arises. Oh, I forgot to say this. Uh, he has pleasured himself
Mm.
using the images he has created. And he has fantasized doing X, Y, and Z. Granted, on that note, in public, he has stated and has been proven that when they did interact like 4 years ago, nothing lewd ever happened. Like, he didn't do anything. It was all within his mind case, his mind cage. He was
Locked
just
up for
thinking these
life.
things.
Locked up for life. I don't care if your thoughts are for yourself. I'm locking you up.
Here's where the problem arises that happened. This is why this is an actual court case.
Okay.
In the actual definition of child porn, the child needs to show explicit images of their genitalia or like dress weirdly. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah.
provocatively.
Yeah.
Those are the only two caveats that are needed to do child porn.
But this guy's such a freak. He doesn't even need that.
The issue
He,
is he never manipulated the images of that child
yep.
whatsoever.
Yep.
Yup. So, Judge,
First of
what the
all,
fuck is this?
the friend who sent you a picture, I'm gonna send him to jail. I'm gonna send you to jail. I'm gonna send your phone provider to jail.
Well,
Yeah.
listen. If I had a kid, I would send you a photo of my son or daughter, being like, "Hey, we're out for
Scott,
like."
I'm gonna tell you right now, if I want to see your kids, I'll go to your Facebook page. You
Well,
don't
listen,
you don't send me a picture.
when you're a parent, you want to show off your kid, and you trust your friend's not gonna nut to your kid. Okay?
I'm gonna tell you, I've never in my life have I received a picture of someone else's kid. I'll take a picture with them. Be like, oh, you're so let's take a picture again. Like, but never like unless it's like a fun like they're doing something like kids dumb funny kind of stuff. You know, like oh look she's saying like she doesn't know how to say crackers. You know, like oh, okay, oh yeah that you no harm judge. You're sending pictures of your daughter, right? And this must not be a good friend. All right, if you
This is very common, though. I think, like,
it's
moms
common.
send photos of their, I don't know, grandchildren off to, I don't know, some other people. Be like, hey, look how cute they were playing at the field. I don't know.
Well, that's like women. Women can send like pictures of children to other women because, like, you know, it's like kind of like it's a different maternal kind of vibe.
Sure.
All right. When you send a guy, if you're a man, all right, and you send a picture of a little girl, whether it's your daughter or not, to another man, that's sus. That's sus. All right.
I don't
That's
think
sus,
so.
and that can only open up dark windows. All right.
I
If you
really
want to
don't think
see,
so. I'm sorry.
if you want to see my kid and it's a dot and it's a girl. If you're a man, if you're another man, and I say, "Oh, I have such a cute daughter," he's like, "Oh, you have pictures of her?" I was like, "Yeah, on my Facebook, yeah, on my Instagram." You know, like I never I don't know what reason you would have to send it to me. All right, this is like you can post this on the internet, and I can just like it and be like, "Cute photo." All right, but you don't have to DM me and be like, "Hey, yo, bro, just for you, check out."
Yeah, let's just check this out, bro. Hey,
That's what I'm
just
like,
just for
yo.
that, when I have a child in the future, I will DM you an image.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm going to lead that. I'm gonna sue you.
No, you're not.
I'm gonna sue you for entrapment. I'm gonna take your kid. I'm gonna send them off to your cousins.
I trust that you're not gonna nut to the image of my future daughter or son.
It
Okay.
should just be on your Facebook profile. I think that the father he messed up. The shady guy. He should not even own a phone. He shouldn't have an Adobe license. He's going to jail.
Okay, let's get the
I
easy
don't.
question out of the way.
He's going
Is
to
he
jail. All
subject
right.
to, you know,
Yes. Yes. Because he put lewd stuff around her in the edits.
yeah.
He put lewd stuff around her in the edits, alright? You're going to jail, right? They weren't even innuendos, alright? You put I wanna suck X, Y, and Z, alright? In bold around her. You're going to jail, buddy, alright? There's no way you're gonna tell me this is like it means something else.
So this is child porn.
Oh my gosh. I mean, the judge was like, he was like, probably snapped his guy. Was like, are you serious, guys? He's going to jail. You know, why? Why are you asking me? Like,
It's because the problem is the fine text is defined as the child showing off explicit poses and actual images of their genitalia, and he did nothing of that to the image of the child.
What do you, Scott? If you were the judge before me and you had to send up to me because I'm the supreme judge, I'm taking your judge your judge title away, right?
No. I'm saying he's still in the wrong. But what this whole court case was about was how do we set up a precedent to fix the lingo, the text, so that if someone does something like this again, we can just say, hey, this is the court case you can look back on to say this is how we defined X, Y, and Z. I'm not saying that judge said he was free, because everyone knew this guy wasn't. He's fucked. He's done. Like he's he's gone. But how do we?
I can't imagine the first court case. It's like it's going on, like they explain all the facts, and the jury's like, "Oh, this guy is actually going to jail," and the judge's like, "All right, this is just gonna go to a higher court case because
Yeah.
we don't know what to say." And I'm like,
because technically, in the fine print, it doesn't say that he did it wrong. In the fine print, he did no wrong.
It's things like this that make vigilantes, you know? Like this will put this. I'll put on a Spider-Man cap right now and beat this guy up.
But this was crazy because this was literally like last year or this year's case. I forgot which year it was, but it's so recent. And you would think by now that we would have a definition describing this specific incident, but we don't. Because the issue is when they try to fix it and say have a what's it called? It was something along the lines of if a child eludes to showing a lewd image, like description, whatever. The problem is that that's too vague. It needs to be more concise besides eludes to lewd. And so they were trying to lock down on how to be described besides altering the image to show it. Maybe if you put stuff around the image, it's bad still.
I think if whatever the edit or whatever any changes made to original the photo, it's alluding to explicit, then it should be deemed explicit.
Well, that's the problem. Eluding is so broad. It's too broad. Because anything can allude to lewd.
Look, if you did a backflip, I don't think you're trying to show me child porn. But if you
maybe you are. Maybe you're looking for that one split frame where the clothes separates from the body. And then you go, ah, there it is.
You know what I mean? No.
I'm sorry, Judge. But this is how it is. This is the world we live in. You can't, it's too broad.
It's too broad. I hate that. I think this is probably one thing I don't like about law. It's like it's very reactive and not proactive. It's like we need something bad to happen to make a rule for it.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to, predict how to stop a problem, though, to be honest.
No, it is not, Scott. All right? Look at fucking Google Maps.
Yeah.
All right? It does not take too much thinking, all right? If I look at a law from 1950 and I go, maybe we should allow black and white people to eat together. That doesn't need to be illegal anymore. Or like, I just feel like some things are like, if you let an 8th grader look at this and be like, this, this probably could use an update. But I don't think we have the budget for it. We don't have the budget for people to relook over laws. So we have to let it function like this.
Wait for it to happen, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to jail.
Okay, great. I'm glad we agree on that.
He's going straight to jail. Like, he's no Diddy, but he's going one penitentiary away from Diddy.
Because one of the issues that arose is because he didn't actually manipulate the image of the child, it also was the argument of, like, technically, it is, quote unquote, like, a lasting endangerment for that child. Because, it's going to affect her eventually if it ever gets released to the public. And what do you know? This guy was a part of a group of people on the internet that liked the same interest of child pornography. And he shared images that he produced because he thought that he was so good at it and made such original content to these other people. So those other people on the internet have the images that he nutted to of this real child.
This is just pedophile behavior, Judge. I don't know what else needs to be said, alright? No man should take another man's daughter's photo into Adobe unless it's a quinceañera, alright? Like, this is pedophile behavior.
I
Oh
know.
my.
That's exactly how I felt when I was reading this. Since like when I was reading this at my job, I was just going, "What the fuck? This is crazy that this is happening." I was just
I
so
think this is
riled
last
up.
year. Oh my god.
This is what keeps me awake when I read this shit.
I see why. I see why. Holy shit.
Because one would think that by now, if someone did this, it wouldn't have to go to the Supreme Court of New Jersey to be, hey, this is wrong. Let's convict this dude.
Alright.
You would
But
think
because
by
of
now that it'd just be like, all right, child, Zorn, bad, away with you. Cut close. But no, we're stuck dealing with this. But I'm glad I got to share this with you.
this was funny. This was terrible and funny. This was great. Holy shit. I can't believe this got to a Supreme Court.
Yeah. There are some other ones. I could probably say this for another episode because I keep reading this shit, and there are cases that involve like shooting and that kind of stuff. And I will tell you one after this episode that I think is hilarious. Not hilarious, but I think it's kind of sad, but hilarious at the same time. Which I will not
A
disclose
dancer
because we're out of time.
broke his leg.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're out of time. We have
We're
to
out of
close off the
time.
podcast. So, dear
I'm pretty
listener,
stupid.
if you're back from the previous cut, this is it. Welcome back. You didn't miss anything.
I was like, you just missed a whole lot, alright? We just implemented a new law. You would agree with it, alright? If you skip that section, trust me, you agree with us.
If you skip
We
that
stopped-
section, that means that either you were affected by the images or you were distributed that image and you know of that image.
Oh my god.
I'm lying. I'm joshing. Your Honor, I'm joshing. Yeah, this is great.
These are interesting. I can't believe this happens.
I can't wait for episode 2 where I talk about other cases because there's so much more stuff I want to talk to you about.
Man, that's crazy.
Oh man. But actually, my recommendation. Recently, I have been discussing, or sorry, recommending. I can't. Well, recommending. I just say recommending. Whatever. I've been recommending music, songs, back to back to back, which is great because I have a lot of songs. At the same time, I read a lot of manhwa and manga. So this time, I'm gonna recommend that because you like to read. People like reading. Now,
They do.
this manhwa is Korean, but it's not done yet. It's still ongoing, but it's kind of good, which is why I'm recommending it. The English title is The Archduke's Adopted Saint. By Song Liba, and Wang Bino? Wang Bino? I don't know. I don't speak Asian. But the premise of this manhwa is basically there's a saint that basically heals the world. And without that saint, there's going to be major epidemics, major wars. And by having the saints, everyone's a-okay. What happens is that the saint of the story is actually fake. The real saint is underground in a prison, and she has to drink her blood to gain the saint's powers temporarily.
Mm-hmm.
The main character is that person in the jail cell. She is the real saint that unfortunately is stuck in a jail cell due to, the politics of society. She was forced there. She is also a regressor, and by that means she when she dies, she goes back to the same time spot, like time, So this is her 14th time being captured and tortured by the other saints, like the fake saints, and she eventually is able to kill herself once again. And this time she decides, you know what? I'm going to try something different from the last 14 times because I'm tired of getting tortured. It's not fun. So she decides to kill herself. But because she's the actual saint, she can't kill herself on a church property. Because if she does it on a church property, she will instantly auto heal. Because church magic. So she needs to find an outside source to inflict damage onto her so she will die. And she's also an orphan, which is why no one gives a shit about her. In this world, you're either a noble or you're just a nobody, basically. But because she had healing powers, she was taken into the church. But because she's an orphan, she has no family backing, they just didn't give a crap about her. And on this day that she regressed back to, one of the counts, like one of the high standing, you know, dukes, basically, is doing a what's it called, like a mandatory show and tell at the church where they had to show themselves off and say, "Hi, I'm a real person." And the church has to show up to them and say, "Hey, thanks for coming. We like your money." So she has a plan to have him kill her. And what happens is she tries that and she fails because the guy obviously does not want to kill a child. But she gets adopted by him because he has kids and they kind of want a daughter. And also, she kind of low key reminds him of his dead wife, but that's kind of like revealed later on. Yeah. And she gets adopted and she lives with the Duke. And she has to basically stop depression of wanting to kill herself because the Duke and the two kids of the Duke are really supportive, really nice, and they're really trying to help her become a part of the family. They want to support her. And so it's her journey trying to accept that she's free from the abuse of the church, but also because she's not stuck in the church, she is going to be the next saint of that world. And once they find out, the church is going to want to take her back because that's how they balance power in the society. You either have the church and the nobles, and if the saint is with the nobles, it's going to really throw everything under the bus. The power distribution stuff. So it's all about her journey, trying to readapt her life of the kindness that the Duke and the family provides, while also trying to like deal with all the church corruption, basically. And it's not done yet, but it is very nice. Yeah, that's my summary of the
Sounds
story.
interesting.
I think we're all just waiting for that revenge plot to happen because,
Or get back.
for a not spoiler, she eventually gives up trying to kill herself because obviously, if she tried to kill herself again, the story would end pretty soon.
Yeah.
So she eventually accepts the kindness and she realizes that, you know what, instead of dying, I'm just going to get revenge. But I'm going to do it my way because I'm a nice person. And that's my recommendation, dear listeners. It's a manhwa. Came out in 2023. So it's not that old.
No, not old at all. My recommendation, dear listener, is Kingdom Hearts 358 Days divided by 2. It's a classic, and whenever I feel bummed out or stressed, I think about that game. I kind of want to play a little bit, but I don't have time. But yeah, it's old, it's clunky, and it feels like 2004. You'll love it.
Okay. I never played Kingdom Hearts, but I know that you and Justin and James are all fans of Kingdom Hearts franchise. And I'll
Look
just
at this
say I
guy.
believe you. I
You wouldn't
think
like it.
probably not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a Disney adult.
It's not
Eh.
about Disney. It's not about Disney. It's about
It's about the
friendship, damn
Heartless.
it. It's about friendship.
It's about Goofy and Donaldo
You don't
and Mickey Mouse.
understand. You don't understand.
Yeah, I don't.
Riku.
I'm a Heartless.
How could you?
My soul's gone. I don't know anything about the series, but I know it's good. I know that when Kingdom Hearts 4 came out, like a couple years ago, right?
Oh yeah, that trailer.
Everyone was very happy and sad because everyone was like, "Yeah, Kingdom Hearts," and the game came out, and they were like, "Oh no, it's mid. Oh, please."
Kingdom Hearts is in a strange spot. The story's confusing, but if you were there when it happened, then you were there when it happened. I don't know how else to explain it.
You're just not smart enough to understand the timelines.
I don't know. Even I don't get the story too much, but I get the characters I like. I think what makes Kingdom Hearts strong is that it was very much you played it as a kid and it had very older kid like vibes to it, but you didn't understand too much outside of the concept of I'm losing a friend, I'm gaining a friend, I'm trying to not lose a friend
Hmm.
kind of vibe. But yeah,
Well, beautiful recommendation as always. And
recommendations out.
just like last week, we will see everyone next week.
He's the future. He does.
I don't know how else you want to close this.
No, that's a good close.
Because my plan was I was going to be like, just like last week, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that works.
okay. We're keeping that in, so it has to work. I
That's where it cuts off. So I like that.
was going to cut off here, like right now.
Oh, here?
Now.
Oh shit. Say that thing one more time.
No.